Okay, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the call for tonight. And if you can hear me, um, hopefully you are watching here on YouTube. So if you can hear me, please put the maybe a Y or a number one in the chat box here. That would be fantastic. And while you do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the We Are Live link here inside of Facebook. So, we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be talking about creating software with your PLR. So let me just post the live link. And make sure that we have it in the event that we created here. So and we are ready to go. Okay, so once again, if you can hear me, just put a letter Y there in the chat box there inside of YouTube. That would be fantastic. All right, thank you. And so let's go ahead and get started. And this is still a little disorienting here. I'm really kind of used to a couple of different platforms. Not quite used to YouTube Live yet, but I am getting there. So that being said, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to just kind of make sure I minimize all the other stuff that I have. And while I do that, are there any questions? Any questions? I always like to start with any questions that you might have. And your questions don't necessarily have to be about PLR. They can be about anything that you're trying to do. If you have any questions or something that you're trying to work on, I've got a limited amount of time that I can really work on questions. I really try to reserve Thursday nights for questions if you're involved in our Ultimate Insider group. So I may have time for one question. So if you want to go ahead and write it there in the chat box while I kind of get oriented here, that would be fantastic. And let's see. I'm going to set my slideshow up. And we're going to just kind of switch some things around here. All righty. Okay, so no questions, I'm going to assume. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Okay, so can everyone see my my slides there? Okay, yeah, Marshall, I'm still working on trying to make this make myself findable with this. So as soon as I kind of get this figured out, we'll get this this weekend Q&A surrounded. Okay, so any questions about internet marketing or PLR or anything like that? Any questions that you might have? Any questions in particular? And I'll be happy to take your questions right now. We're going to be talking about here tonight for the next 20-25 minutes is we're going to be talking about turning your PLR into rebrandable software. Okay. What I want to mention to you also is that our webinar series, we're going to be doing a 3-step webinar series called Starting from Scratch. That webinar series is really going to be about getting a fast start with PLR. We're actually even going to have Laurel come on for a little bit, and she's going to be talking about doing a little defense. And I'm really, really kind of excited about that. And if you have her PLR, her course on extreme couponing, this is going to be a really cool session. So if you got a spouse or you've got a significant other, you want to kind of get them on. Whoever does the shopping in your house, if it's a daughter or a son or whoever it is, make sure they're going to be on that call. And all of that's going to be inside of starting from scratch. And we're going to be starting that here this week. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about turning PLR into rebrandable software. Basically, I mean, with anything like this, what you're basically trying to do, and some of you all already know how to do this, basically, is you're going to have to turn information into an exe file, right? So basically, you want somebody to be able to click something and have it kind of open up onto their computer or open up onto something that they're watching, so that it will give them information, right? So you have the information in whatever you're doing with the PLR, and you want to give it to them so that they click on something and it opens up into information. Now, that doesn't necessarily fully help you as a marketer. What it does, though, is it allows you to create more value for somebody who's looking for some information. So you're getting in front of somebody who wants some information. You're going to give it to them in a different form. I mean, obviously, you could give it to them in the form of an ebook. You could give it to them in the form of an audio, but people are more and more liking things that they find that they believe are easy, right? So that's really one of the things that you're going to be able to use rebrandable software with your PLR to create value. One of the ways that you can do that, how many of you are familiar with e-learning software like Adobe Captivate? Now, Adobe Captivate is actually not part of Creative Cloud. So if you have Adobe Creative Cloud, it's not part of that. It's almost extra, and it's really interesting because Adobe Creative Cloud, I think, is something like $30 a month, where you get Photoshop, where you get Dreamweaver, Adobe Encore, all that stuff. And that's almost $30 a month. But then they're charging $30 a month just for Adobe Captivate. And it's really kind of a cool software program. I don't have time to show it to you now, but basically creates software from information, right? And that's one way to do that. Adobe Captivate probably has about, I'd say about, you'd be looking at about 100 hours of tutorials before you even begin to know how to use it. And so that is a possibility where you can take information, use Adobe Captivate, and then create an exe file. You can actually also do this inside of Camtasia Studio. And how many of you all have seen, and maybe I can even kind of show you this here. I'm gonna open this up in Camtasia. I'm gonna open up Camtasia Studio first so you can just kind of see it and see what I'm talking about. Now, this actually works better inside of the older versions of Camtasia Studio, and I'll show you why here in a minute. Just going to wait for Camtasia Studio to open up. I'm going to slide this over so you can see that screen. Okay, so when you are actually, let's say that you have a project that you're working on, right? And let's just open up a project. And so what we could do inside of Camtasia Studio is we could share this content. And what we would do is we would share it with what's called the Smart Player, right? The Smart Player. And when we do that, what's going to happen is we're gonna share this, and what it's going to do is it's going to create a bunch of files, right? It's going to create more than the MP3. It's going to create more than the MP3 audio and video. It's actually going to create files that your customer could click on, open up into a browser, and then it's going to give them some more stuff. So if you know how to work with HTML, you'd be able to use Camtasia to create basically what is a clickable software that'll open up into their web browser. Does that make sense? So if you get that, please put the number 1 in the live chat box if you get that, right? So you can do that right inside of Camtasia Studio. Now, it actually works better inside of version 7. Right? It works better inside of version 7. because what this is going to do is version 7 actually has something called, and I don't know if I still even have Camtasia 7 on here. I'll see if I do. If I do, I hope I do. There it is, Camtasia Studio. And I'm going to open up Camtasia Studio 7 for a minute so you can see this. Yeah, so Heather says she has Camtasia, but you haven't used it yet. Yeah, so Camtasia, basically, as you know, Heather, I mean, if you got it, you already know it already allows you to create both audio and video. It allows you to create both PowerPoint videos as well as share screen videos. And it's a fantastic way of being able to communicate information and even create products. Now, if I were to do this same project inside of Camtasia 7, I don't even know if I have any other Camtasia 7 projects, but I'm gonna open this up. Okay, this doesn't look like I still have any more Camtasia 7 because I'm using Camtasia 8 these days. Let's see. Yeah, these videos are no longer there, but I can still show you what we're talking about here. Okay, so Camtasia 7 has something inside of here called Pack and Show. Okay, so Pack and Show inside of Camtasia 7 allows us to do two things. Number one, can you all see where it says specify the name of the executable file? Can you all see that on my screen? And that's really what Camtasia 7 does that Camtasia 8 does not do. Camtasia 8 took Pack and Show out. And so Camtasia 7, I've always said that Camtasia 7 is a good enough version of Camtasia, right? You can record just about anything that you want to do, but the one thing that you can't do inside of the later versions of Camtasia that you cannot do inside of Camtasia 7 is to create the executable file from inside of Camtasia. And that's a really useful thing if you want to create, you want to take your video and then create an executable file. Does that make sense? So if you get that, please put the number 2 in the question box. Yeah, you know what? I'm not sure what I can do to make that. I guess I could size this up. I'm not sure what I could do to make this clearer. I wonder if if I'm in too much. I don't think I'm in anything. It's going to cause a problem. Okay, very good. So I'm going to go ahead and just close Camtasia. I mainly wanted you to see that. That is one way that you can take any of your information and you can create you can create the executable file, right? Yeah. So Heather says there's a setting inside of YouTube where you can change the video to higher quality, right, guys? So see if you can do that. Thanks, Heather. Appreciate that. Okay, so now we can also take that exe. Now, what's useful about the exe file? Well, what's really useful about the exe file is that we can turn that exe file into brandable media, and whatever the case is, right? We are not quite there yet, where the whole society is a digital society. There's still boomers and Xers that still like getting things on CD. They still feel like, and I confess that I probably am that way too. That I feel like I own something when I have the DVD. How many of you all are like that? Where you could get it by download, but there's something about sometimes you get the information, it's on a CD, it's on a DVD, you feel like you own it. And so people are still willing to pay for media, right? And so one of the things that you can do with the exe file is it makes it easy to take your content and to put it into brandable media. You can put it on a CD very easily. Or if you are a speaker, how many of you all are speakers, right? How many of you on this call, you're a speaker, right? Or you do some speaking, right? And sometimes you want to be able to take something with you and you want to be able to sell something. And so if you want to be able to sell something when you are right, it feels more valuable, Marshall says. And so you want to be able to sell something and you want to be able to pass it on to people when you're finished speaking. And if you haven't started speaking, or even if you're doing a meetup, right? So if you're doing a meetup, one of the best things you can do is to have something there in order to sell. And not everybody here is going to be able to kind of pop out books. I know that's the best way to do it. I know it's a credibility builder and all the other stuff, but it's kind of a longer term thing. If you can have a CD, if you can have a DVD, and then also you can actually put an executable file on the thumb drive. And so what you're doing is you're giving somebody something physical, and then they're actually getting something, right? They're actually getting something. Now, you can also turn your EXE files into lead generation opportunities. And that's really kind of where I want to kind of focus what we're going to be talking about here today. You can use content and graphics to attract people, and you can use the software to generate leads. I'm gonna actually show you a little software application, right? Called the it's called the Software Dash Builder. And you may have even seen the Software Dash Builder, but maybe you haven't seen what it actually does. You've probably seen the result of it. Okay, so the Software Dash Builder is actually going to allow you to be able to create rebrandable software. And I'm going to try to find a piece of software that I've already created. And let's open up this software. Okay, so one of the things you'll notice here is that this Software Dash Builder, it has a couple of elements. Number one, it has a background here. Now, this background here is actually just a background that I have created. Yeah, I've actually been working. Yeah, I've done some work with David's software. I thought I recognized you, Marshall. Okay, so actually, what you're going to be able to do here is you are going to be able to use the software in order to create software that's going to be brandable. Now, one of the things I want to kind of show you with the software is something that's kind of cool, which is I can actually create the software so that I can actually set up a registration. So what does that mean? What that means here is that I can actually have someone register a certain URL, and they're going to actually put in a registration code in order to get access to the software, right? I can actually set this up so that I can actually set this in an internal browser. And when they do that, they're going to have to put in their name and email address in order to get access to the information. Does that make sense? So if you get that, please put the number 4 in the question box. If you get that. If you don't, put the number 5 in there, and I'll try to explain it to you again. Okay, fantastic. Now, one of the other things about this this particular kind of software, and I'm going to kind of get rid of some of this stuff here. Let's see. Is you'll notice here that I'm working with a specific button, but what I can do is I can actually take out this information and I can deactivate that button. So that basically what I have here is I can actually place this button over this content so that when the person clicks the button, what's going to happen is, and let me show you. I can actually set a couple of things to happen. Number one, I can actually set it up so that I can have it open up a PDF document. I can have you open up a PDF from the web. I can actually have it open up from a web link inside the default browser. I can actually have it show a YouTube video. Does that make sense? So one of the things that I can do with the software is that I can actually create a piece of software that people will have to literally basically kind of check with me before they're able to do something. Now, I can rebrand this software in a couple of different ways. I can actually, I'm going to close this. I can actually also, let me kind of take a look at this. I've got a couple of different special settings. I can lock the dashboard. I can also do button passwords. So in other words, what I can do is I can actually make it so that each button is password protected. So I could literally almost use this as a little membership, right? So I don't have to learn how to use membership software. All I'd really have to do is to give this to someone and then give it to them on a CD or DVD where they're going to have to click, but they are then going to have to walk through this process. Does that make sense? So if you get that, please put the number 5 in the question box. Right, so it's about 6:25. So I do want to I'm going to try to do, let me see if I can try to find one of the software applications that I've created with this. And some of you all may have even seen me. Now, one of the things that I have done with this software is that, one of the things that I've done with this software is that I've actually created bonuses, right? And the bonuses really do have value. Now I'm going to go inside of here for a second. And I'm going to go inside of my software folder. And I don't know if I have one inside of here or not. I may have one actually in one of my affiliate bonuses. Let's take a look here. I'm going to try to find one where I actually did create one. And I think I may have created one for Sajan. And did I create the software? I can't remember whether I created the software or not. Well, I will show you this on another one. I've actually done this a couple of times. And basically what I try to do, oh, here it is, bonus software. Okay, and let me see if I can find the software. Okay, so here's the software, right? So the software is basically now the background I created with Photoshop. Right now obviously now I had some help with this, right? Now I had starter templates that basically gave me the guide where I could actually create this. But basically these are Photoshop templates. I then set this up using the software. So basically this is the PLR. So this is the cheat sheet, right? Here is the mind map. Here's the guide, right? I don't know. Maybe I didn't do that part right. I didn't do that part right. And then the license. Okay, so then, and basically, I think I set this up for my customers. So this was a bonus that I actually did for people who bought this PLR through my link. I actually went through now. This took a long time. So they really did get something. Right now, what I did was I made this button brandable. So what they could do is they could then change this button to be whatever they want it to be, right? So they click this button. I think this button might go to the PLR show. I'm not sure where it goes. Okay, this button goes to my website. But what I did was I made this so that they could change this button. I made this button brandable, right? So they could go in and change it with my videos and with my instruction, right? So that is how you could take your PLR and turn it into brandable software, right? Let's see, we're about at 620. 629. So I try to get you out of here in 30 minutes. But that is the model, right? Now, this software is available from us also. Basically, we're going to be able to give you now. You can actually go out and find the software through a friend of ours. His name is David. And David has actually agreed to allow me to make the offer to you. Now, he's actually the person that created all the templates. He created all of this stuff and really makes this easy. So the software is available from us. But if you go out, to make sure that you don't go out and get it now, because the price is higher, number one, when he first offered it. But it's available with PSD files, with PNG files. It's also available with the setup. Right? It's also available with how to make it into a CD or DVD. So I'm going to show you how to make it into a CD or a DVD. That's something that David was working on. He may get around to that, but I've actually figured out how to do that. So when you get the software, we'll show you how to do that. I'm actually also going to show you 3 strategies, maybe even 4. Now, there's the affiliate strategy, and I've probably given you a hint as to how to do that. There is the lead generation strategy. And now when I say lead generation, what I don't mean is what the software does. I'm talking about how you could use this software as an offer to create leads for your internet marketing business, right? So you don't have to be an offline marketer to do this, right? But I'm going to show you how to use it, right? So that you can be smart with PLR and you can actually go and create leads with it. I'm going to show you how to make money with it, right? So how do you create an offer? I think how many of you all can already see that if you were to create an offer with this software and your PLR, you can actually see making sales? How many of y'all can see if you can see yourself? Because I know sometimes one of the things, you buy PLR and you think, well, man, everybody else has the same thing, right? Everybody has a Facebook ads PLR. How am I going to make sales with this? And so one of the ways you can do this is you can create some really unique offers with PLR, with the software, right? And so I'm going to show you the marketplace you're going to go to and how you're going to actually do it. Then there's the offline strategy. Now, this is really something that, again, now I'm not an expert, but I sort of know how it's done. I haven't made sales offline with this, but for you offline marketers, one of the things you're going to really benefit from is, again, creating a CD or DVD and going to give it to a business owner. How many of you offline marketers have run into this? And I can say this, that I have run into this. You sort of want to be able to show them something, but then they've got to pull out their mobile device, or you got to have your laptop. It's just kind of a mess. When sometimes, if you could just kind of hand them something, right? You could hand them something, say, hey, next time you're at your computer, go ahead and open this thing up, right? And so you want to be able to leave something in their hands. What do CDs cost? I think CDs cost 30 cents now, right? You can get a CD for 30 cents. So you're not talking about being out a lot of money if you go and do this as a lead generation strategy in your offline business. So again, I'm going to actually show you how to do that. The software is going to be available. Now, again, if you go out and get David's offer, you're going to get it at a higher price. Now, I've been talking to David. I've known David for a long time, and I was in a course that he did. I think Marshall and I were in this together, and I'm going to be able to make the course available to you, but I'm also be able to make it available to you with all these other things I'm going to show you how to do with it, right? And I'm going to be showing you how to do all of that inside of my Starting from Scratch course. So the Starting from Scratch course is basically going to kind of show you how to do some of this other stuff. So once again, the link to David's course at the different price is going to be inside of that course. Now, I haven't put it inside of the course yet, but that's where I'm going to have it. So The way to get it, right, is I'm going to go over the strategy in this course, starting from scratch. And when you pick up starting from scratch, that is where I will be going over the strategy, how to use it. And you'll also get the link if you want to get it, right? You don't have to get it, but starting from scratch will show you the strategy, because you may want to do it with Camtasia Studio, or you may want to do it with Adobe Captivate. Maybe you don't want to use David's software, which I think is a fantastic offer, but it does cost money. But you can create offers and get leads for your business once you understand how to use the software. I'm going to be showing you how to do it. Any questions? Any questions? It's about 6:34. So like I said, I know I kept you over, but I did start a little late. So any questions? Any questions? Okay, everybody. Well, you helped me to hold to my word. It's about 6:34. We're out in 30 minutes. Appreciate you all being here. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.